Pixar has been releasing movies since 1995, but can you name all of them? Test your knowledge on some of the most popular and underrated movies ever, including the one we bet you never even heard of. Now let's check out the best Pixar movies ever.
To infinity and beyond!
Up. Let's start with a movie that's warmed all of our hearts. Up pretty much made us all uncontrollably sob. It's a cute movie, but it happened in 2009, which is quite a while ago. So how much do you remember from Up? The movie actually became pretty famous for one of the most wonderful sequences at the beginning. No words were needed for that part at all. It was already emotional on its own, but the entire movie is just way too adorable. Carl, the old widower in the story, has to put up with Russell, the overly ambitious and overly energetic kid. The two are just perfect for each other, despite the early differences. Up comes with a lot of metaphors and backstories that will make you all choked up.
Any last words, Fredrickson? Come on, spit it out!
Definitely time for a rewatch. Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is one of the most quotable Pixar movies ever. Who could possibly forget about Just Keep Swimming?
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
It's all about a tiny clownfish who gets caught up by humans and thrown in a Sydney dentist's fish tank. He has to be rescued by his dad Marvin, and the whole journey to the rescue is pretty extreme. Marvin also meets some colorful characters along the way that really make this movie a million times better. Seriously, this is the movie you probably end up rewatching millions of times because it's just so good. And remember, just keep swimming. Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc. is just one of those Pixar movies that really explore the boundaries of storytelling. Who would have known that people would fall in love with these monster characters and the adorable kid? Although this movie is totally innocent, it will genuinely make you cry on more than just one occasion. We won't spoil it for you, but you'll be surprised just how many heartfelt moments can be found in a movie about monsters. And honestly, it's absolutely amazing that the kids aren't scared of the monsters anymore while watching this, which of course is the whole point. If it's been a while since you've seen Monsters, Inc., you probably have to rewatch Monsters University. Now here's a Pixar movie that was really anticipated, but quickly forgotten. Monsters University is of course a sequel to Monsters, Inc., so the expectations of this movie were ridiculously high. It's all about Mike and Sully attending college and becoming scarers. That's the plot. The movie wasn't really as well received as the first one, and to be honest, it was kind of expected, but it still did well despite the fact that many forgot it even existed. Monsters University does still feature some amazing moments that you should definitely rewatch again. Finding Dory. Remember when Ellen campaigns for Finding Dory for years and everyone collectively lost it when the sequel was finally announced? Dory was such a big character in the first movie, everyone wanted to know more about her life. But we bet you forgot about this movie the minute after it came out. The truth is, this is one of those Pixar movies that's definitely aimed at adults.
Dory!
It's completely emotional, and the entire story of Dory's amnesia will have you choked up. Of course, it doesn't hurt to watch this one immediately after Finding Nemo 2, just so you can get a bit of backstory. Brave. As the first Disney princess movie produced by Pixar, Brave had a lot to live up to, and it definitely did. Set in Scotland, Brave explores the Scottish heritage just as much as it explores non-stereotypical Disney princesses. Merida is just one of those characters that's so unique, and she's one of the few that doesn't need a man. In fact, men aren't the main focus of the story. It's all about Merida standing up for her own passion.
And I'll be shooting for my own hand!
And honestly, that's just beautiful. A bunch of other stuff happens, but we won't spoil it for you. If you forgot all about Brave, you definitely need to put it on your to-watch list. Cars 1. Who knew that a movie about cars would be so iconic? The very first Cars movie was the one that proved Pixar loves to create stories outside of the box. It's all about showing Lightning McQueen's story of him getting stranded in a small town, where he gets to learn the true meaning of friendship and family. The movie itself is by far one of the most popular Pixar movies ever, and for all the right reasons. Who doesn't love talking race cars with a ton of personality? Cars 2. The second Cars movie came a few years after the first one, and the buzz for it was honestly amazing. Pixar wanted to test whether the popularity of the first movie could be duplicated, and they did a pretty good job with it. Cars 2 has it all, an emotional story and brilliant one-liners. Of course, the first movie still reigns superior, but the second is pretty close. And if you're looking for a tearjerker, don't worry, it's there and it's glorious. One thing Cars 2 has that the first one doesn't is brand new characters that really bring out the spark and tons of comedy. Plus, there's a bonus of added car romance because, why not?
You're pretty.
Yes, all right, thank you.
Cars 3. The popularity of the second Cars movie remained strong enough to produce the third one and really turn the movies into a franchise. By the third one, the story sort of changed. Lightning McQueen is now past his race car prime, which is kind of normal since he'd be way too old. Cars 3 focuses more on mentorship and learning how to stay humble and control your ego. It still brings an important life lesson, which is to not be selfish and use your skills to bring up someone else. It also shows how easy it is to lose confidence and how hard it is to gain it all back, unless you have people around you to believe in you. We're already crying and the movie hasn't even started yet. Inside Out. Inside Out came in 2015, but we bet you've totally forgotten about this gem. The storyline of the movie is pretty straightforward. It talks about Riley, a teen who doesn't know how to deal with her emotions after her family moves to a new city. Each emotion is an actual character, which makes the movie pretty original. It's all about Riley's mind and how she deals with the complicated stage of her life. Inside Out might be a movie you totally forgot about, and it might not even be on your top 10 Pixar movies list. But we bet you'll change your mind about it after you rewatch this movie as an adult. It's absolutely heartwarming.
Take her to the moon for me.
Coco. Released in 2017, Coco is relatively new to the Pixar world, but it still made a huge splash the minute it came out. Its focus is the celebration of Mexican culture and a chance for Pixar to focus on different ethnicities for the first time. The story revolves around a 12-year-old Miguel who has a single passion in life. He wants to be a musician. This passion, of course, doesn't go down well with the rest of his family. Along with a touching story, the movie features plenty of cultural moments that will really make you sob your heart out in the best way possible. Bug's Life. A Bug's Life is an old-school Pixar movie made back in 1998. It's actually only the second movie the company ever made. Featuring an amazing cast, A Bug's Life takes on exactly what the title suggests, the life of bugs. It's pretty amazing how creative Pixar got with this movie because, truth be told, the storyline is absolutely fantastic and the characters have an amazing personality. We won't spoil it for you because you have to see it for yourself. But trust us, this will make you see ants in a completely different way. The Incredibles 1. The Incredibles. This movie is a complete masterpiece and one you just have to see with your family. The Incredibles is a longtime fave for many. This very surprising superhero movie has it all. Funny characters, an action-packed storyline, and it plays with your emotions just enough to make you both laugh and cry in the span of 1 hour. It also brings a fabulous insight into superhero fashion and provides some touching backstories that are hard to erase from your mind. Seriously, capes have a whole new meaning after you watch The Incredibles.
No kicks!
The Incredibles 2. Due to the success of the first movie, The Incredibles 2 were a pleasant surprise for many, and is actually one of those sequels that managed to be just as entertaining as the first movies. The Incredibles 2 also focuses on the youngest of the family, and we all know how many theories were made about Jack Jack. A bunch of other stuff happens, but the truth is, everything is just as heartwarming as the first one. The Incredibles franchise is the best to watch on a family movie night. Just make sure you get those tissues ready because your tears will definitely need them. Ratatouille. Okay, this movie is a total classic. It's pretty much up there with The Incredibles, Cars, and several other Pixar movies we'll talk about in a moment. It's also one of those movies that shows Pixar has no limits when it comes to storylines and characters. A movie about a chef rat. You don't see that every day. Ratatouille introduces Remy, the rat, who is actually an amazing chef, but of course he doesn't get a chance because he's different. A bunch of other stuff happens, but you just have to see it for yourself. Ratatouille might not be the most quotable Pixar movie ever, but it's definitely the one that sticks with you for life. WALL-E. Let's be honest. When was the last time you saw WALL-E? Do you remember the storyline? If the answer is no, it's time to rewatch this classic. WALL-E is all about a binocular-eyed robot, quite similar to E.T. The lesson of this movie is perhaps a bit more surreal than any others. It shows the reality of the humanity from an outside perspective. Since it does have a lot of silence in the movie, it means that the characters don't have any lines. While this might definitely put some people off, you have to give it a chance because, trust us, it will grab your heart and you will melt.
Even? Wally?
Toy Story 1. Now let's talk about the very first movie created by Pixar. Toy Story is where it's all started. The revolution began. It's one of those completely unexpected movies that really took off and showed just how much kids get attached to toys. But it also took that to the next level and explored the secret life of those toys.
You are a toy!
Toy Story has a surprising amount of action along with plenty of moments that will make you cry your eyes out. It's where it all begins, but definitely not where it all ends. Toy Story 2. Sequels are never as successful as the originals, but that's not the case for Pixar and Toy Story. It turns out that the second Toy Story was just as well received and perhaps even more than expected. The plot is all about Woody getting kidnapped because he looks like a valuable collectible. Just like the first movie, it features plenty of touching moments and arguably has an even better and slightly more emotional soundtrack. Although many people still only refer to the first movie when they talk about Toy Story, the sequel definitely shouldn't be forgotten. Toy Story 3. Can you believe that Toy Story's third movie turned out to be one that broke the most sales records? It's all about Andy becoming a teenager, which means that he's leaving behind most of his childhood toys. It happens in every kid's life. The toys get left abandoned. But how does that make them feel? It's an emotional plotline that reminds us all of the difficulties of growing up and getting detached to our childhood memories. The movie also has an incredibly gruesome moment that will make you close your eyes and reach for that tissue box. Tears will definitely fall. The Good Dinosaur. Say what? Never heard of this movie? We don't blame you. The Good Dinosaur is a typical kid movie that doesn't really interest the adult world as much as some of the others. But The Good Dinosaur is indeed a Pixar movie. It represents a world in which the dinosaurs and humans live side by side, and an adorable little dinosaur makes an unlikely friendship. This movie is adorably sweet, although definitely not as complex as some of the others on our list. Have you ever seen it? Let us know what you thought about The Good Dinosaur or any other Pixar movies in the comments below. If you like videos like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to check out our community section where you can talk about your favorite movies, TV shows, and much more. Thank you for tuning in to The Things, or stick around for more fun.